What's up everybody? So in today's video, we're gonna be pulling a transmission out of this whole truck. I've been putting this project off for a little while just because normally it's a huge mess whenever I do this. And we had all the snow, so the ground was all covered. And actually I robbed a lockout out of this truck and I put it in my daily driver. So this thing was only 2-wheel drive. And I actually got stuck in my backyard whenever the snow was all icy and everything. But actually right now, I need to get this thing up on jack stands, and I have my Bronco outside running. I'm gonna go grab some jack stands for the rear, and we'll jack this thing up, get it on the stands, and then we can start draining the fluid. So let's get on the road. This is today's ride. Get those jack stands. I have plenty of room to put them in the back. So let's head over there. All right, y'all, we just got back. I'm gonna grab these jack stands, throw them in the garage. We'll get to work. All right, y'all, we just got the truck onto jack stands here. I got a clean bucket underneath. Just sized up the bolts for the transmission. I'm gonna get underneath there on the creeper here, and I'm gonna try to drain this pan out. So what's going on with this transmission is the pump inside of it is making a whining noise, and the fluid is all milky. But that's most likely due to the pump not making pressures right, and it's just shoving air and foaming up, and it's changing the color of the fluid. So we're gonna get underneath this. We're gonna pop the pan, pop a corner down, try to get it drained into this bucket. And then from there, disconnect drive shafts, cross member, all the good stuff to try to get this transmission ready to be dropped down. All right, guys, so we got a new plan of attack here. I tried draining it all into this bucket to save some of the fluid, but it's really not looking that good. So I'm just gonna drain it into this pan because I had a ton leaking out everywhere, and you can see it's still dripping. So I'm gonna get underneath here with this drain pan and put it underneath, and then try to just drain it out. Because it's a lot harder to drain it into a bucket like this. I don't know why, but I just cannot get it. So I'm just gonna use this drain pan, and unfortunately I'm just gonna have to buy new fluid. But all right, y'all, so this is so much better now. We got it draining in this drain pan. It's way better because you can see this whole line here is not just runoff, that's where it's dripping too. So a 5-gallon bucket would have just been impossible. But I'm gonna work on getting everything else disassembled. That way this transmission is ready to come out, but we're gonna let this drain. All right, guys, so I got the rear drive shaft out, and then I had put the transmission pan back on it to stop the leaks. Got front drive shaft out, and then my dad's working on it right now, getting it all unhooked from it. He's got the linkage done. He's got it unhooked at the bell housing. So the first thing I did was drop the pan on the transmission, and I had my dad help me lower it down, and got it all drained out into this. And I drained some of it in the bucket, but long story short, it does not look good. And I'll put a picture up of what it looks like inside the pan.
Give me a pic.
But then once I got the pan back onto the transmission so it's not dripping on the floor anymore, I went ahead and took the rear drive shaft out, which all that takes is it has these straps that go over it, and then the 2 1/2-inch bolts. And once I got those knocked out and the straps pushed out, the drive shaft just slid right out of the transmission. And then it's the same story for the front, but the front has straps on the front and back near the transfer case. And then from there, my dad got underneath there and he started unhooking bell housing bolts, starter, all that good stuff, to where now we're about to drop the transmission down. Here's the starter. This is where the starter goes, and it's just 2 bolts right there, and then you have some more bolts on the flywheel here for the torque converter. And this is another thing, is getting this linkage unhooked and the wiring unplugged. There's a little plug right here, and then there's this bar that goes here, and then it also bolts right there. And then there's one more up there. It's on this bracket right here. There's some more wiring to unplug from the transfer case. All right, my dad went ahead and did all of that. So now all I have to do is get these cross member bolts out. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's 3 over there, 6, 7, 8, and then there's 2 more up here. But I'm gonna leave 3 of them in, that way this transmission doesn't just fall out. And then he left 1 bell housing bolt in. You can see it, it's right there. This one's out, this one's in. That way, again, the transmission doesn't fall out. And then there's 2 transmission lines on that side of the transmission. And as it comes down, I'll show you that, and then we'll unhook those. But right now, I'm gonna get started on the crossmember bolts. All right, so we just swept up underneath, got the crossmember bolts out, except for one. We'll take that out in just a second. But the one got stripped out, so we had to cut that up. But my dad's rigging up the stand right now, and we're gonna lower it on down. So I am on the passenger side of the transmission here, and I wanted to show you one of those transmission lines I was talking about. One's right here, and then you'll see the other one as we go down. This was the line I just talked about, and then you come up a little ways, and it's right there, right tip of my finger. All right, last line just came out. He's getting the last bell housing bolt out, and then this thing is going to be completely free on its own, and it's going to come on out. All right.
All the lines undone, like they're not caught?
This one is.
Just pull it.
Yeah, you're good.
That's it. Now, you see how much you're gonna have to jack it up to clear the leaf spring to roll this out? Or
Just, I'll jack at the rear.
yeah. Go on up.
Roll it out. As you roll it, lift up the transfer case, it'll tip the front down. So right there, tip. I don't know if you're gonna have enough, just go as much as you can. Lift up, like 5 inches, lift up, lift up, lift up. That's it. Nothing to it.
Did it.
I make it easy.
Holy smokes. This thing's filthy.
Why'd you leave the drive shaft in?
For the fluid. So this doesn't spill all the fluid. All right, guys, so we did it. We got the transmission out, and it was really all thanks to my dad. He helped out tremendously. But there it is, finally out. That pan was worse than I was expecting by far. So what I think I'm gonna have to do is, instead of being able to repair the front pump out of this transmission, because what originally was happening is the front pump was whining. So for a transmission to work, it needs to make a certain amount of pressure with the transmission fluid, and then everything can move how it's supposed to and shift gears properly. But it did. It drove fine, but it just made a little noise. So maybe say it was a little weak, or it wasn't, functioning properly. It shouldn't be making noise. But originally I was going to pull it, maybe put a new front pump in or rebuild the one that's in it. But looking in that pan, and I'll put it up right here, there is a ton of gasket material and a thick like sludge on the bottom of the pan. I don't know. This is the first transmission I've really taken apart. But, I'm going to just have to find a used one off Marketplace, slap it in, send it down the road. Because at the end of the day, this truck is still just a flip. This isn't a keeper by far. But I do have some upcoming videos. I did work out a deal with that guy about that red truck. So hopefully that gets done soon whenever the snow clears up. But transmission's out, and I kind of wanted to show you guys how to take a transmission out of an F250 BRICKNOSE. You can follow those steps completely if you have a 250 and it's a BRICKNOSE. So, but that's going to be all for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you stayed this long, like, comment. What was your favorite part of the video? But that's going to do it for today. So this is Dalton. That's all for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.